Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're taking a truly fascinating, highly structured academic framework and breaking it down into a clear, visual guide for local economic development. Today, we're exploring a powerful blueprint designed by researchers Federico Del Giorgio Solfa and Luciana Mercedes Girato. Their work offers a highly practical, step-by-step strategy to transform struggling rural areas into thriving hubs of economic activity, all through the power of tourism. So if you're at all interested in community building, local economies, or strategic planning, you are exactly in the right place. Picture a tiny community for a second. Maybe it's a place you know, a town you've driven through on a road trip, or hey, maybe it's even your own hometown. We're tackling a really profound question today. How can a community of just 500 inhabitants genuinely thrive in the modern economy? So often these small towns are just completely overlooked, suffering from a lack of opportunity or people moving away. But the framework we're looking at today flips that narrative on its head entirely. It gives us a concrete problem solution framework to take a town on a massive transformative journey from stagnation straight to prosperity. And I really want to emphasize this specific number, 500. This blueprint isn't meant for sprawling metropolitan cities or massive crowded tourist resorts. It's deliberately and precisely designed for small rural communities with up to 500 inhabitants. Though actually the researchers do note a practical 10% tolerance there. This methodology functions as an incredible practical masterclass for micro-local revitalization. It proves that you don't need a massive population to create a robust, self-sustaining local economy. You just need the right organization. So, here is our roadmap for today's journey. First, the hidden rural potential. Second, tourism forums and programs. Third, diagnosis of the tourism system. Fourth, strategic axes of development. Fifth, implementation methodology. And finally, number 6, the meaning of development. Step 1, the hidden rural potential, where we recognize the true value of rural communities. Just to establish our footing here, it's really important to note the absolute credibility of this model. We're not just talking about theoretical wishing. This methodology is rooted in a highly structured academic model published in the peer-reviewed journal Revista a Pie, which is associated with the Escuela Superior de Cuadros del Estado y del Gobierno. The researchers meticulously analyzed the real obstacles facing local development and engineered tourism to be more than just a side hustle for a town. They positioned it as the fundamental solution and sustenance for rural survival. And this brilliantly illustrates a concept drawn from the theories of Sergio Boisier, making an absolutely critical distinction. See, a territory isn't just a piece of land. An equipped territory might have human intervention, like a dam, a highway, or a mining camp, but at the end of the day, that's just infrastructure. True development requires an organized territory. This is a place characterized by a community with a shared local identity, regulated both politically and administratively. You can't just build a road and expect a tourism boom. You literally must organize the community's identity first. Moving right along to part 2, tourism forums and programs, or what I like to call the 2 magic keys. So the crucial point is, to organize a territory, we first need the FDTM. That stands for the Municipal Rural Tourism Development Forum. Let's completely dejargonize this. Just think of the FDTM as the community brain. It's pushed forward by the local municipality, sure, but it absolutely has to be populated by local actors. Merchants, artisans, the educational community, agricultural producers, cultural centers, the whole shebang. It becomes the centralized hub where the organized territory actually meets to think, debate, and plan their future. Now, the entire reason that community brain exists is to generate our second key, the PDTL, or Local Tourism Development Program. If the forum is the brain, well, the program is the muscle. It's the community's step-by-step action plan. The PDTL is all about implementing concrete projects designed to boost local identity and foster better living conditions for everyone living there. It's a completely organic, ground-up process. Section 3, diagnosis of the tourism system. Basically, understanding the landscape. Let's see how this actually builds out in reality. This brings us to a super practical 2-step diagnostic process. Step 1 requires a really thorough geographic survey. You have to characterize the rural, urban, and architectural landscape. You need to know exactly what physical assets are sitting right there. Then, step 2 layers the human element right on top of that. A deep study of the existing cultural goods, services, and local knowledge. What culinary arts are native to the area? What traditional clothing? What inherited local wisdom? Because this deep diagnostic work, it isn't just taking inventory like you're counting stock in a warehouse.
It's revealing the highly specific local traditions and natural assets that will form the unique basis of the town's tourist appeal. By mapping unique flora, fauna, and inherited cultural practices, things like specific types of historic crops or traditional animal husbandry, the community discovers its unique signature. And that heritage, that becomes the very thing they will promote to the outside world.
All right, on to Section 4, Strategic Axes of Development, the 5 pillars.
Now, what's really interesting here is how these 5 strategic pillars seamlessly interconnect to boost the local economy. First, the town must adopt a shared local identity based on their own history and values. Second, they have to improve their existing tourism infrastructure, basically fixing up what they already have. Third, they focus on generating brand new tourism enterprises, prioritizing those that create local jobs. Fourth, they connect all these new businesses by fostering engaging new tourist circuits. And fifth, the capstone to it all, boosting agritourism. Agritourism is literally the primary engine for this specific model. The researchers define it pretty broadly too. It encompasses ethnotourism, cultural tourism, health, historical, and even adventure tourism. The overall goal is to bring visitors directly into the rural area so they don't just consume a product, but actually experience the past, the local customs, and the natural beauty firsthand. When visitors come to experience authentic rural culture like that, the resulting economic influx is immense.
Section 5, Implementation Methodology, putting it into action.
So, how do we actually do this? The researchers lay out an exact chronological 3-stage blueprint for putting the forum into action. Stage 1 is a massive, broad community call, getting literally everyone from local sports clubs to the schools involved. Stage 2 takes that massive crowd and organizes them into a board of directors, alongside specialized working tables led by technical teams. Then, Stage 3 is where those organized groups sit down and officially design the strategic guidelines for the local program, all based on their shared identity. It's a perfectly structured funnel from chaos straight to clear strategy. But, and this is absolutely crucial, the board's job doesn't end with planning. They don't just write a fancy document and walk away. The working tables and the technical teams must establish specific indicators for continuous monitoring and evaluation. The board has to constantly assess these projects, adjusting their strategies in real time to ensure the town actually experiences the intended economic growth and job creation.
Finally, Section 6, the meaning of development, the ultimate goal.
The paper references the economist José Luis Corajo, and I absolutely love this quote. The meaning of development is not a given. It is and must be a collective construction. True rural revitalization, it isn't just about bringing in outside money. According to the researchers, local development is ultimately about rebuilding the very social fabric of the town. It's about generating a level of maturity and solidarity within the community so they can confidently define their own scale of priorities. Tourism is just the vehicle. The true destination is a unified, thriving community.
Which leaves us with this final thought. You've just walked through the complete blueprint, from uncovering hidden potential and organizing the community brain, all the way to establishing strategic pillars and monitoring actual growth. The tools are right here. So what does this mean for you? How will you apply this model to spark curiosity, organize your local territory, and build the future of your own region? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope this sparks some incredible action in your own community. Catch you next time.